Aunt Fonda is here. She has lived many lives over the course of her remarkable life and career. Oscar-winning actor, political activist, fitness guru, philanthropist, and best-selling author. Most recently, she has devoted a lot of her time to her passion for teen health. That work has led to her new book. The book is called Being a Teen. It sheds light on the physical and emotional intricacies of adolescence. I'm pleased to have Jane Fonda back at this table. Welcome.
It's good to be here, Charlie. Thank you.
You're interested in everything, but why this for you?
Well, I have a real soft spot in my heart for adolescents.
Why?
They're hard to love. You know, it's easy to love kids, but adolescents get real prickly, and it's hard. I had a very difficult adolescence.
You yourself?
Me personally, and you know, and I'm privileged. So if it was hard for me, imagine for kids that have less opportunity. Yeah. And then I ran a children's camp for 15 years in California, and then I started various nonprofits in Georgia, the Georgia Campaign for Adolescent Power and Potential, and the Jane Fonda Center for Adolescent Reproductive Health at Emory University School of Medicine. And
you should have been a doctor.
Well, parts of me sort of am attracted to that. But I, you know, it's for a long time it wasn't even considered a unique stage of human development. There was childhood and then there was adulthood. And now we know that it is a very specific stage of life. It's the gateway to adulthood when the young person moves from concrete thinking to abstract thinking and begins to develop values and their own identity and to individuate, and they need a lot of answers and a lot of guidance. And
why do some rebel and others don't?
I don't know. But I know that for most parents, and it's worse now than it used to be. It's hard to be a parent of a teen. It's hard to be a teen, too.
But what makes it hard?
Well, you have, for boys in particular, all this testosterone, which is the hormone that is sexy and it's aggressive. And this is coursing through their body at a time when their brain is still under construction, especially the prefrontal cortex, which is planning and decision-making. So it's like putting high-octane jet fuel in a Model T Ford. Can lead to risky behavior. And, the brain doesn't really mature till 23 or 24. So, there's a lot of pressures for both boys and girls, and they need guidance and they need boundaries, and yet they give off this vibe to parents that, you're just an old fogey and you don't know anything and don't talk to me, but they really want to be talked to.
You're boring to me. I have my own life.
Yeah.
One of the things you said in answering the question of what were your great fears as an adolescent, you said, I didn't know where to go to get answers. That's true, isn't it? People don't know.
They don't know, and very often parents are scared to talk about things and don't know where to begin. And, a lot of the people that have been interviewing me have read the book, and, obviously they're grown-ups, and they're saying, wow, I've learned things that I didn't know, and this is going to really help me know how to talk to my teens, which made me very happy.
Now, could you talk to your dad?
Oh, are you kidding? You knew my dad.
Yes, I did. That's what we call a leading question.
No, bless his heart. That generation had a really hard time. And I couldn't talk to my mother either.
I know, yeah.
And, I had
turned out all right.
questions. Yeah, I've worked hard to turn out all right. It took me a long time.
Did you do for this book what you did for the other books? You go out and talk to everybody that you can possibly talk to who's an expert. Yeah. And then you put it all together and try to make it through the prism of your own clarity, make it clear.
Well, I've spent, I figure close to 30 years close to teenagers. Yeah. In California and then in Georgia. And I've talked to groups of girls. I organize groups of boys. I've talked to parents about teens. I've read voluminously, and so I know a lot from my personal experience with teens, how much misinformation there is and how valuable good information is to them and how it helps them avoid problems.
About your father, who, as I did know and admire,
Me too.
You said clearly, but you said that he objectified you, didn't he?
There's a lot of books about the changing body, the plumbing.
Right.
I wanted to write a book that was more holistic, that talks about the developing identity, how to manage the media and the messages that are sent to us, the messages that tell boys to, don't be sissies and don't ask for directions and be tough and don't show your emotions and don't respect girls, and who tell girls don't be angry and be quiet and be a pleaser and be thin.
You want to break through all that.
Yeah, to break through all that, and body image and sex, all the things that didn't exist when I was a teen. Sexting, cyberbullying, all those kinds of things. It's real hard for kids.
You have also talked about aging. Would you, if somebody came along and said you can be 20 again, would you want to be 20 again?
I can't think of any amount of money that could have made me want to go back.
Is that right?
Yeah, no. It was
even if you had some insight from the life you lived.
If I could go back knowing what I know now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to do it over again, but never to go back the way I was then.
And just experience what you had to experience to get to where you are now.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to struggle to get to where you are.
I did. I've done a lot of work.
Yeah. But I mean, is that it? Hard because you have faced up at every time to you seem to me to have two qualities. Number one is authenticity. I mean, you do who you think you ought to be and do what you think you should do, and you're true to yourself. I assume that. I don't want to go all the way back to Roger Vadim, but
I've learned lately to be authentic, yeah. But I think it takes work to become who you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, the T.S. Eliot quote, you spend your life, I'm paraphrasing, you spend your life exploring, and at the end of all your explorations, you arrive back where you started and know it for the first time.
Yes, exactly.
You know, if I could go back and really know it, then, then yeah, I'd like to go back.
Because, I mean, I read somewhere you said you'd never want to be 20 again.
Not the way I was when I was 20, but if I could take my wisdom, my hard-earned wisdom back with me, I wouldn't mind having it to do over again with a lot more smarts. And, I was not a parent that knew this stuff when my kids were teens. They're now in their 40s.
And so you made
I can't
mistakes.
pretend that I can't be self-righteous about it. Yes, I did.
Made mistakes.
Yes, I did.
Like
and
what kind of
teach
mistakes?
I was about 2 years too late talking to them about it.
They knew already.
I didn't know how to be an approachable and askable parent, starting quite early. I didn't know how to listen and not be judgmental.
Is it different for boys rather than girls?
It's very different for boys.
Because of all the testosterone and all the things you suggested?
Well, it's
or
different for
something
boys because when y'all are real young, like 5 or 6,
yes.
The pressure on you is, to stand up and don't be a sissy and don't be a mama's boy. And so you shut down. You bifurcate head from heart. Yeah. And that's all you know. So boys think that's just the way it is. Girls don't start to lose. Boys lose their empathy, their heart. Girls lose their voice, their true authenticity at puberty. But they have a whole decade before then of, who says, and wrestling and climbing trees and being feisty. So, that's why girls and women tend to be more agents of change, because you don't have to scrape so deep to get them back to where they were.
But we're so influenced by peers.
We talk a lot about that.
I know you do.
I encourage...
Why do you think I have this in my hand?
Well, I don't know if you've read it. But one of the things that I want to say, because it's going to be parents watching this show, I think it's a good idea to ask your children, what kind of a person do you want to be? Yeah. Everyone always says, what do you want to be when you grow up? Yeah. Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, right.
But what kind of person do you want to be? What kind of values? And then write them down. Have them write them down, because when you write them down, it becomes much more cognitive. You're much more focused.
Someone I know once had a saying like this. They said, think about the end of your life and look ahead to it. And what would you like to be and have people say about you? Not be, but have people say about you. Who would you like to be as a human being? And then try to become that person.
That's right. And then, because it goes back to what you said about the peer pressure,
right.
Are the kids that you're hanging out with encouraging you in that direction that you say you want to go in, or are they keeping you from being the kind of person you want to be? It's this period of time when we have to make young adolescents very conscious of their developing identity and all the pressures that are coming at them to make them not what they really want to be, so they can resist it better. Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. I've never quite understood this, but I mean, I know people one after another have said to me, the child became the man who they were, and the adolescence period shaped who they became.
That's right. That's why it's so important.
And it's so important, therefore, to understand it.
Yeah.
Yet at the same time, I mean, I don't quite know how. I mean, can you look back and say, I am Jane Fonda today because of these events that happened in my life, or these relationships that happened in my life? It's harder for me to do that.
I am the Jane Fonda today that I am because I have looked back on all those things and understood them from a distance.
With the help of professionals who you could talk to.
With the help of therapy and with the help of what's called doing a life review, which is what I did when I wrote my memoirs without realizing how important it is to go back and really look at your life and your parents and your grandparents and understand why they were the way they were and why they raised you the way they did. And half the time you find out it really had nothing to do with you, that you're really quite okay and quite lovable. They had their own issues and did the best they could.
Once you find that out, you could look at life with a much better attitude. Yes, exactly. I mean, I think there was a point where you said about 50, you said that 3 years ago, you said, you were the happiest you'd ever been. It is because you have gone through this process.
I was way past 50 when I said that.
No, yes, you were 70.
Yeah.
Because but you said it because you had done such an introspective look at your life.
I spent
that
quite
you
a
found
number
happiness.
of years. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
see,
right.
this is the sad thing once again. I mean, people sometimes, it's often said, don't look at their life until they're sick and they're worried about losing it, what kind of life they've had. I mean, you've had the good fortune to do it while you were healthy, but most people don't even get to do it. They never have the kind of events that lead them to look introspectively at themselves, or be because they're on such a treadmill that they never think about it. They never think that much. They're thinking about all those events that sort of come rushing their way.
Yeah, that's why I wrote my memoir the way I did, and why I've also written a book called Primetime about aging, to try to encourage people to think about, how do you know where you're going if you don't know where you've been?
Yeah. Now, you're going to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award from the
American Film Institute.
AFI,
I'm so honored
as good
and
as
thrilled. I'm just so excited. I burst into tears when I was told I was going to receive that. Yeah.
And it means so much to you because it's a recognition of a lifetime of work.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
craft
and
that you love.
I left my profession for 15 years, 10 with Ted, and then 5 writing my memoirs. And so the fact that I could come back and be welcomed back and now honored in that way means a tremendous amount to me. I thought I would always be the bridesmaid and never the bride. Betty Davis asked me to host her AFI Awards.
Right.
Barbara Stanwyck had me give her the award. Of course, my dad. And now it's me, and I'm just so excited. I always wanted to know Barbara Stanwyck because I hear incredible stories about her. Yeah. Well, God, look at her movies.
How tough she was. Well, that too, but also her relationships.
I think my dad had an affair with her. I hope so. I was sort of told that, and I hope it's true.
But I mean, everybody's always talked about how smart she was. I mean, she has some of the same things they say about Katharine Hepburn. Independent and smart.
What would those things be? They say a lot of
smart. Marching to her own agenda, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Comfortable in her own skin.
I hope that's true.
Yeah. Well, so what is it you would like for them? I mean, why does it mean so much? Because it is the profession you grew up in. It's a profession that has welcomed you back after the absence. And it is how it has taken so many years of your life, in a sense, or given so many years of your life.
Yeah. It's when your industry opens its arms to you in that kind of way, and all these people that you've worked with come forward and say nice things about you, it's just wonderful at my age to have that happen.
What's the ultimate wisdom about growing old?
Stay active. Stay curious. It's much more important to be interested than being interesting. Yeah. Stay interested, stay curious, and stay active.
But no one does that more than you do they?
I don't think so.
I mean, you feel every day. I mean, I have this.
I really do. I learn stuff every day.
Yeah. And so this book is called Being a Teen, everything teen girls and boys should know about relationships, about sex, about love, about health, about identity, and more. If you don't know why this is important, all you have to do is look at the tragic examples of where peer pressure, whether it's over the internet or causes kids sometimes the most tragic consequences.
Yeah, I know.
Because of peer pressure and because of their desperate need to be liked and to feel that you're not, and to feel that you're not somehow part of the community you are.
That's right. Yeah.
Can cause the most dangerous kind of damage. Right.
One of my favorite chapters is about sexual identity, sexual orientation, and you know, I'm really proud of that chapter. It's the best one that I've read, written for teens about
how to come to grips with your own sexual identity.
Yeah, being gay or lesbian or trans or questioning.
Who is Melissa Kotke?
She is the director of the Jane Fonda Center at the Emory School of Medicine.
And what happens at the Jane Fonda Center?
Well, it's for adolescent reproductive health, and we develop all kinds of curricula that help kids know what a healthy relationship looks like. Some curricula that are directed exclusively to boys, to reduce dating violence, for example. All different kinds of curricula that get used nationwide. It's a fabulous place.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Jane Fonda, the book is called Being a Teen, everything teen girls and boys should know about relationships, sex, love, health, identity, and more.